What it is, it's your boy Dutch the Damon, and you now watching Damon Time with Dutch. On today's episode of Street Stories Uncut, we over East Baltimore in that Harford Road area, man. Now, this situation took place many moons ago. I was over East Baltimore in that real ghetto. But before I jump off in the storytelling mode, I'm gonna go ahead on and run these shout outs down, man. Now, first up, we got the brother Omar. This brother went on here, blessed the channel through Cash App, looked out, you feel me? Appreciate you, brother Omar. Next up on the list, we got the brother DJ Hollywood. This brother went on here and blessed the channel through Cash App. I appreciate you, brother. I definitely ain't gonna let you down, man. TikTok don't pay me, so that's love. Appreciate it. Now that we got that out the way, let's get it. Now, this situation took place a long ass time ago. I was still a hopper, the 90s. Now, my father was from that Harford Road area, right? And me and my mother, we lived in the projects, Howden Ridge projects. So on the weekends, I would go over to my dad's house. Two totally different worlds. He got money, we don't. His house was big, wood floors, chandeliers everywhere, just nice house. 3-bedroom, bar in the basement, finished basement, you know what I mean? Nice. So when I went over there on the weekends, I felt like a little rich kid. It was only when I go back home that I realized my ass was poor. But anyway, so my father was a contractor. He owned a lot of houses in Baltimore City, and he owned like 5 houses on the block that he lived on. He be renting them out and shit. So me and my dad haven't talked in about 7 years. Literally, to this day, about 7 years. But there's a reason for that. Now, like I say, I used to come over there on the weekends. Back in the 70s, my dad used to be like a bounty hunter or some shit like that, right? But he stopped doing that shit in the 80s. He just still had mad hammers, big hammers. But you know, he was a bounty hunter, so they legal for real. I can remember, man, he used to drink brandy, right? Some nights he'd go to this bar called the Wooden Nickel. He'd come from the Wooden Nickel with that brandy up in him. Get to giving me money. He even took me in the basement and showed me the straps one day. He was feeling that brandy. Now where he kept me, he used to be in the basement when he used to live around there. He don't live around there no more. But where he kept me, they used to be in the basement in this closet that he used to keep nailed shut, right? To be one nail that keep that door from opening. So I never knew what was in there. Then one night he came from that Wooden Nickel. He opened it up and showed me what was in there. Whole bunch of rifles, whole bunch of pistols. You heard me. I did not know that shit was down there. So fast forward, this was around the time when I really jumped off the porch, peddling a little grass here and there. Well, around my way in the projects, got myself into some shit. Nigga fronted me some grass. I went on here, did the plies, ran off on the plug twice. Took them off. But while I'm over my father's house, my mother called over there, was like, yeah, some dude come to the door looking for you. He described and told me what his name was. I'm like, oh, I know who that is. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna holler when I get home. She like, he seemed upset and all that. What's going on? Telling her, like, don't worry about that. Ain't nothing. She like, you sure? I'm like, yeah, don't worry about that nigga. Like, all right, boom. So now I'm already knowing this nigga looking for me about that shit, right? So while I'm over my father's house for the weekend, he take me to work with him. He went to work, told me I can stay in the house, right? What do? Go get the hammer, pry that door open up, and I grabbed a 357 Python off the table. It was the color of a penny, and it had a wooden handle. It was copper color. Me. Before that, I had never seen no shit like that. Copper color? But anyway, I went on here, tucked it, nailed the door bag shut how he had it, went upstairs, put it in my overnight bag that I bring when I come over his house, put it in the bottom of the bag. Boom. And I took the wrong shells. I took some 38 shells. I ain't even realize it. I was young back then. But you can't shoot 38s out of a 357. But anyway, he come home from work. He like, get your stuff together, man. I'm gonna run you home. Cause you know, I come over on Friday, he take me home on Sunday. So he like, get your stuff together, man. It was a Sunday. Packed up and everything. Hopped in the van. He used to take me home in his work van. The man had a Mercedes-Benz. He used to drive around his work truck all the time for no reason. Put me in the work truck, took me back to the projects. But when I get home, get back around the way, I'm all excited that I got this strap, right? So I take it outside, show all my homeboys. Nigga like, dang, that bitch big. It was long as shit. So fast forward a little bit. Nigga, I owe the money. He ain't come around till about 3 days. So I was outside, but I had the pipe in the house. First, I was keeping it on me, but he ain't come around for like 3 days. So I left it in the house on that 3rd day. Thinking he just chalked that shit up, right? Now this nigga was way older than me. So yeah, we out in Jack Fisher Court playing basketball on a little fake, little plastic basketball goal. We just shooting jumpers at that shit, right? Me and my little homeboys. And this nigga that I owe the money to just popped out of nowhere. It came from out the black path, walked up like from the back of the houses and shit. Like, hey, little Johnny, let me holler at you, man. A lot of bass in his voice, right? And he walking over towards me fast as shit, right? I'm thinking he ready to cuss me out or some shit like that, right? This nigga walked up on me and punched me in the top of my chest, almost by my throat. Knocked me on the ground. Now, mind you, I'm a little nigga at this time. I jumped up off that ground like a jack in the box. Tears in my eyes, I hurried and run home. No bullshit. My mother was sitting at the table cutting up some onions and shit. She seen me running the house all upset. She jumped out like, what the hell wrong with you? I paid her no mind. Hurry up, ran upstairs, got my joint out the bag, come flying down the steps back out the door. I lied to you not. When niggas seen me come out the house with that big ass pole in my hand, not only him, everybody that was right there took off. I had that bitch like this, running full speed. And this is when niggas used to wear baggy clothes, so he running trying to hold his pants up and shit. Man, I thought I was getting ready to dump on Slim. I squeezed that motherfucker through my arm like, woo! Scared the living shit out of me. That shit threw me on the ground. And I could hear people screaming and yelling and shit, but I ain't hit him. He hit the corner and got out of there on me. When I got back to the house, my mother, she done called. My father, he get there, take the joint from me, whip my ass and all that shit. And to this day, he kind of feels some type of way about me because I did that with his shit, and all his shit is registered. I ain't know no better. It is what it is.